You're watching NFL Daily. I am Harrison Graham. About 7 feet away from me or so is Tom Downey. We don't know where Mitchell Renz is. Hopefully he's back very, very soon. Lots of NFL news and rumors items to get into, so we're going to go ahead and jump on in. What is this kind of back and forth rumor around Odell Beckham Jr.? Does he want to play or not?
Kind of a weird one. So he told the Wall Street Journal that he didn't understand why the NFL was trying to play and said he wouldn't mind not playing this year. Criticized NFL owners as well. We'll get to his quotes here in just a second. It's a very weird mention, and the timing's also super weird for OBJ because this interview was done several weeks ago.
Yes.
And it just came out today, so the timing is very confusing there. Here's what OBJ had to say, and I think his mindset has changed since then. He says, we're not ready for football season, so why are we trying to push forward? It's obviously for their money, and that bothers me because there's always been this, and I hate saying it like that, but the owner's attitude is, oh, we own you guys, and just kind of that unfairness going on that they don't see us as human. He also said this, I just feel like the season shouldn't happen. I'm prepared for it to not happen, and I wouldn't mind not having it. Now, since then, OBJ is as planned to play. He's not expected to opt out because he's going to get $14.25 million. Also, just quick note, that's a lot of money to pay for someone you don't view as human.
Look, maybe when he said those things a couple of weeks ago, which it didn't get released until today, maybe he just got bored in Cleveland and didn't want to live there for 4 months. I'm just saying, look, it's like Joakim Noah said it best. Ain't no one ever on vacation to Cleveland. Like, no one goes to Cleveland to hang out. Clearly, last year it did not go great, but they need him nonetheless.
It's a weird timing for the article to come out. It's kind of a weird quote from Odell Beckham. Like, I know that what's changed is the NFL has their plan, but surely we knew the NFL was going to have a plan.
Yes.
Like, I know at the time there wasn't one. It's just weird to me. Like, I would be wanting to play.
So, look, Odell Beckham Jr., maybe he does, maybe he doesn't want an NFL season. We're saying here at Chat Sports, we want an NFL season. If you do too, like this video. Just hit that thumbs up icon right below the video right there. It helps support the show. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And, hey, who doesn't want an NFL season? We're going to keep you up to date here on Chat Sports. Aaron Rodgers to the Dallas Cowboys, the rumor that is kind of becoming the new Jamal Adams to the Cowboys because
this one makes less sense.
They have the former Packers coach.
So a lot to unpack here. We'll begin with the baseline, which I'm sure you guys have heard. Rodgers is fully aware he is not the Packers' future anymore.
Yes.
That is clearly Jordan Love. So remember that who the Packers' future is. Now, the idea pushed today by FS1 was, well, what if you traded Dak for Aaron Rodgers? Couple things here. We'll start on the Green Bay side. Again, Jordan Love's the future.
Yes.
So I'm not sure they're going to flip Dak for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you could do a three-way trade where the Packers get picks, someone else gets Dak. That makes sense. I don't know why they draft Jordan Love and then trade for Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
right?
If you're moving on from Rodgers, it's not because you're going to acquire another quarterback. It's because you're ready for Jordan Love to be your quarterback.
No, exactly.
It makes no sense.
The flip side here in terms of swapping Dak and Rodgers for the Cowboys is, well, Mike McCarthy and Rodgers didn't get along.
Yes.
Did we all forget about that?
The last 2 years, it was not pretty between those two.
Then for this past season, Harrison, we're going to ask who's better. I'm just saying it's a lot closer than some of you want to say. You can look at those numbers outside of the interceptions, which Rodgers has always been, frankly, off the charts at. The rest of the numbers favor Dak.
Yeah, and look, it's up for debate. We're curious to see what you guys think. Who's the better quarterback right now? Not 3 years ago today, as we do this video here in August of 2020. Type DP for Dak Prescott. Type AR for Aaron Rodgers. This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so you guys can go ahead and debate right there. Antonio Brown to the Seattle Seahawks. You're watching NFL Daily. This is a rumor that kind of continues to evolve, Tom. What is going on right now with AB in Seattle?
Well, Pete Carroll's chimed in. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But remember, Brown has an 8-game suspension, which the reports out of Seattle were like, probably takes him out of the running. They're not interested there. However, Peter King has now come out and said, well, I actually still think the Seahawks are the favorites. Pete Carroll today, meanwhile, the head coach. We'll get to Peter King first, excuse me. I think if I had to put $5 down on Antonio Brown's team for this year after his 8-game ban is served, I'd put it on Seattle. Russell Wilson is a fan and wants it to happen. Pete Carroll isn't afraid of risky guys. John Snyder's wanted to take shots on game breakers with baggage. So it makes some sense from an upside perspective. Also, Antonio Brown has managed to burn 3 bridges with NFL teams, and that's just those teams that he played for in under a year.
Yeah, look.
It's a lot of
Antonio Brown is not a guy worth dealing with at this point. That is my opinion. If he serves the suspension without being on a team, which, by the way, that is still unclear whether or not he can do that, but if he can and a team wants to take a chance on him in the middle of the season, okay, fine. I'm not signing a guy who has this much baggage and won't be ready till at least week 9.
Exactly.
I just don't think it's worth it.
Pete Carroll did have, I thought was a pretty interesting comment, asked about Antonio Brown. It's a very complex situation. We just need to see how it fits somewhere down the road. That's all I got for you. So not a yes, but also it's not a no.
I think Pete is trying to keep Russell Wilson happy by not
probably
closing
fair.
the door on this completely because for some reason Russ wants him. I understand from a football standpoint why he would. That would be by far the best receiving core he's ever had with AB, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. It's a pretty good 1-2-3 punch.
That's a let Russ cook receiving core.
But I just don't see it happening. I agree with Peter King on this. The most likely team to sign him is still the Seahawks.
It's actually the Ravens. I disagree.
Okay, well,
I think it's the Ravens.
I'm going to say Seattle, but I still think it's more likely than anything that a team doesn't sign him. So we'll leave it up to you guys. Would you sign Antonio Brown? Type AB for yes or type FAB for no. Let us know down in the comments section. Some other free agent receivers, if you don't want to go that route, obviously Josh Gordon's been connected to the Seahawks, finishing last year in Seattle. Taylor Gabriel is a player I'm surprised is still unsigned. Did have some injury concerns, but if you're Seattle, that's a solid number 3 option right there. Paul Richardson,
the reunion,
Tavon Austin, Des Bryant. It kind of dwindles after that.
You got 3 guys I like as potential fits there.
Yeah,
Richardson knows the offense. Of course, he was with Seattle. Gabriel, I think, would be a solid number 3 receiver, especially if Seattle's not going to let Russ cook as much as they should. And then there's the familiarity with Josh Gordon, who I'd still prefer for Seattle over Antonio Brown.
What I prefer is to have an NFL season, and best way of doing that is for our sake is to wear a mask. Chatsports.com/player mask. You can get this Russell Wilson one that just got released in the past couple of weeks. We got players for all NFL teams, mostly superstars, at that link. Chatsports.com/player mask. Check the comments. Check the description. You go to that link. You can shop today. Get these 2 packs of these NFL player face coverings. Throw the mask on. Let's stay safe together and have an NFL season because Tom and I, we're going to have to get creative at work if we don't have an NFL season. So one more time, chatsports.com/player mask. In other Seahawks news, Rashad Penny is heading to the PUP list. He will not be ready to go for week 1.
Not a huge surprise here for the Seattle Seahawks for Penny having to start camp on the PUP list. He's coming off that torn ACL. The timing was already super if you just to get back in time for a week 1, let alone for training camps. This was very expected. I think there's a pretty decent chance he starts the actual season on that physically unable to perform list. That's why Seattle went out and they added Carlos Hyde, because now you have Chris Carson, you got Carlos Hyde. You'll probably let DJ Dallas and or Travis Homer compete for another roster spot. Nick Ballore is going to be the fullback there. Penny still offers explosion, assuming he comes back healthy from that ACL. But in terms of just rushing production, he was clearly behind Carson and Hyde, of course, for the Texans last season.
Yeah, look, Hyde had a good season last year in Houston.
He did.
The Chiefs traded him for a late-round pick to Houston at the end of training camp because they didn't have room for him. Has a 1,000-yard season, so I think him and Chris Carson is going to be able to hold down the fort just fine until Rashad Penny comes back. Then you'll have that 3-headed monster. And then at that point, Seattle can figure out what their running back rotation looks like. Delanie Walker is still a free agent at the tight end position. Is he heading to the New England Patriots?
I'm actually intrigued by this one, mostly because, yes, the Patriots drafted 2 tight ends this year. Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene out of Virginia Tech and UCLA reversed the order there.
And they're not great.
It wasn't a great tight end class, but they fit what I think the Patriots are going to try to do. But Matt LaCosse was the incumbent veteran, in air quotes, because he actually hasn't done anything in his NFL career. But they're super thin right now. Walker, although he's had injury problems, has only played 8 games the past 2 seasons. Much like Jordan Reed, when healthy, he's actually really good.
Yeah, he's certainly older. I think he's 36 now, so he's got maybe 1-2 decent years left in him. But you look at the depth chart for the New England Patriots, is he your starter potentially? I mean, we'll
if
see.
Healthy, maybe. I like Asiasi and Keene as developmental guys. Keene was grossly underutilized in the Virginia Tech offense.
Tested well at the combine.
Because colleges don't know how to use tight ends.
Yep.
These are mostly blocking guys, though. Keene a little bit more, I think, upside in the passing game. But maybe Walker comes in and can be a veteran option for you for a team that has lost several veterans already.
So we'll see what happens with Delanie Walker, where he ends up. I promise you we'll have it covered here on Chat Sports as soon as he signs, and all of the top NFL free agents sign, because we've been doing it all off season long. Hit that big red subscribe button. We got tons of videos up on the channel, including our most recent updated list of top 15 NFL free agents. We do Q&As here on the channel, all types of videos just for you guys. Hit that red subscribe button right now. Some Miami Dolphins news to get into. Preston Williams, the UDFA from a year ago, he's ready to rock.
A very good news for the Miami Dolphins. Williams had a very productive and promising first season out of Colorado State, and he tore his ACL in early November. This is a really good sign for him to be good to go in week one, that he's cleared, just like Tua, who we'll get into in a little bit as well. He's going to be good to go, and in theory, he's going to be the very promising youngster we saw last year as a potential building block for that wide receiver core.
Yeah, you get Tua healthy. He's probably not your week one starter, but this is a young piece to hopefully pair with Tua down the road. Obviously, Devontae Parker is locked up long term, and what we saw from Williams last year was good. 32 grabs, 428 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's got the size, Tom, about 6'5", 220 pounds. He's a big target on the outside, just like Devontae Parker is. So this is a good sign to get him ready to go for camp, ready for the 2020 NFL season.
He was a weird evaluation. I think once he's healthy, he'll be the number 2 receiver for this Dolphins team. Hopefully Albert Wilson can stay healthy, and he can handle that slot receiver role. Alan Hearns could be a backup. It's a little unproven and thin. Maybe they invest next offseason in some more options. Preston Williams was a weird eval because he wasn't invited to the combine because of off-the-field stuff. The tape and production at Colorado State was really good, but then you couple the off-the-field stuff with a horrible pro day. Just awful numbers caused him to go undrafted. Then he played like the guy we saw at Colorado State.
Yeah, and it's going to be important for guys like Williams, for Parker, continue to develop for your young quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, a guy who was used to NFL talent at receiver at Alabama, which he gets now that he's in the NFL. Yeah. So that's a good sign for Tua. It's a good sign for the Dolphins. They're starting to get healthy as the 2020 NFL season approaches, which will be important because this is a team that's continuing to grow, and I think a team that's on the rise in the NFL.
And it is still a bit of a rebuilding process, so I don't think you're going to see Miami rush to or even rush Preston back. Though the coaching staff is going to keep trying to win games, which I think they'll win more than what they did last season, Harrison.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously 5-11. I think if you're Miami, can you get to that 6 or 7 win mark this year? See some growth. The Patriots have question marks. The Jets are still a mess, in my opinion. There's opportunities here to win some games.
I think 7 is a very realistic over-under number for the Miami Dolphins this year.
Absolutely. So predict for us, how many games will the Dolphins win in 2020? And if you want more Dolphins coverage, check out our Dolphins-only channel. It's youtube.com/Dolphins News. Let us know how many games the Dolphins will win this season. And for you Dolphins fans, you can get a Tua Tagovailoa jersey for under $100 at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. I love the aqua color there. It's one of the best NFL jerseys in the league, in my opinion. And we got other jerseys as well. The Cam Newton Patriots jerseys have now been released at chatsports.com/NFL jersey, as have the Jamal Adams ones. Tons of NFL jerseys are available at that link. We'll make sure it's in the comments. We'll make sure it's in the description. That way you guys can shop and get a brand new jersey today.
Now, by the way, some of those new jerseys, they aren't on sale because, they're brand new. Some of the more established players, Alvin Kamara, for example, his are on sale to 25% off. So go check out your favorite teams there at chatsports.com/NFL jersey.
The Broncos have had a player opt out. It's offensive tackle Ja'Wuan James.
This is a significant loss for Denver because James didn't get to play much last year because of injury. His guaranteed salary, which was $10 million this year, now shifts to next season. Denver can't get out of that, so he's going to be on the roster next year. Now, the expected opt-out deadline is now supposed to be Thursday or Friday. We'll see who else opts out, but I think this is one of the more significant ones because now your right tackle for Denver is Elijah Wilkinson. You've invested in recent offseasons at the interior offensive line spots, Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushenberry was a rookie at LSU this year, Graham Glasgow as well. But Garrett Bowles was not great last year, and now you got a bunch of uncertainty at right tackle. This team has invested in the offense, but they got to keep Drew Lock healthy.
Yeah, it's a significant blow for a team that's kind of a trendy pick this year in the AFC.